Go ahead.
Granted, we have bird flu and that stuff going on, but that's not going to be around forever.
Mm-mm.
So we have farmers that have that have chickens, and you're making local eggs that are cheaper. These farmers were probably sending their eggs out of the country.
Yeah.
And now they don't have anybody to sell their eggs to.
And they're killing a lot of
birds.
So
it's a lot of things we can do as public. Reach out to our small and mid-sized farmers, even some of the larger ones, and find out exactly what we can do to help. We can do. We can.
Yeah.
We can do that to help. It could be our black farmers. As a matter of fact, all our farmers are suffering right now. And a lot of them are scared they're going to lose their farms.
And they probably are.
And when they lose their farms, we lose the food we eat.
Right. So, do you remember how Big Mama got her farm? Do you remember the story?
She bought it from Mr. Gentry.
She bought it from Mr. Gentry.
But I don't remember it. Because I was a little kid, so I don't remember it.
So, it was 1968, and Dr. King had just been killed. Mm-hmm. And she was really angry. And she said that she got her gun, and she was going to go out, and the first white person she saw,
she was going to shoot him.
She said she was going to shoot him.
Yeah.
So what she did was, Big Daddy took her gun, hid her gun, and that's when he said, let's move out of the city. And they moved out of Birmingham City. And they they called him Old Man Gentry. And it was Mr. Gentry. And Mr. Gentry was from Chilton County, Alabama.
Oh, okay.
And Mr. Gentry owned like 100 and something acres of land in a place called Manoogie Creek. And Manoogie Creek is on the map. And Manoogie Creek was during the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
Was one of the only places where there was a well that people from Shelby and Chilton County could go to get water. And that is the land that Big Mama bought. And she bought all that land.
Mm-hmm.
And the land that she bought, what she sold only to family. Mm-hmm. And she gave to children and grandchildren. And that's how we got Dale Woods. It's called Dale Woods. It's right outside Shelby County off Highway 31. You might pass it if you're ever in Alabama and you're on Highway 31. You see that white picket farm and it says Dale Woods up there. All that land belongs to us.
Yep.
All that land belongs to us. So, do you have any fears or anything about the plight of farmers, especially black farmers?
There are actually some farmers in D.C. that I've met.
Oh, okay.
I met a couple of farmers. They were females. At a vegan fest.
Okay.
Because I don't eat meat. I only eat vegetables. So the plight of the farmers is the people who only eat vegetables or only eat holistically and don't eat much processed food. It's a problem for us because we eat mainly vegetables.
What comes from the ground?
But there are black farmers and female farmers in this area, in Baltimore, in D.C., or around the area. There are. And right now we are probably relying a lot on our locals, the local
and that's
people
not a bad thing.
And the community to help out.
That's not a bad thing.
And it's lean. It's lean for them because right now with the tariffs and all of the pulling of subsidies and grants and everything, yeah, a lot of farms are going to fold. So we definitely need to, if you know of any small farms, medium farms, large farms in your area, reach out.
Mm-hmm.
Ask them what they need. Form co-ops. The churches, ask what they need. Ask your local farmers in your communities what they need.
So I have a question. It's the same question that I asked Farmer T. Why do you think this current administration, and for me, because of all of the things that they are doing, they seem to be anti-farm?
They're anti-everything. Those people lived in a bubble. You have people who are hugely rich, billionaires, this is destroying everything. They don't even know where their food comes from. They probably have people who do their shopping for them, who go to the supermarket for them. They don't care about any of that stuff. They pay somebody to do it. They're all living in a bubble. And they've been living in a bubble for generations probably. Because some of it is probably generational wealth. So they don't know. It comes from ignorance. The way you hurt them is to take what they have away. Because they're all greedy. But as far as we go, we know how it feels to be hungry. We know how it feels to work. Some of us work 2 and 3 jobs. It's not like what people think. We work our tails off. We're not all on welfare, but that's what they're coming after. But it's not us.
Right, it's not.
So I think of it as people who haven't done their homework, who are illiterate, who probably bought their diplomas, who probably sailed through school because daddy got them in.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know. And I think it's all ignorance and stupidity. And they have a whole bunch of stupid, ignorant people following them. And that's what I think.
So why do you think even the farmers that voted for him would vote for him against their own best interest?
You got to ask what's underneath that. Because you got to remember, some of these same farmers had to deal with him in 2016?
Yeah, they did.
When all those tariffs came, and a lot of them lost all their contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the next administration came in, they had to shore them up with subsidies.
Mm-hmm.
They lost a lot of we lost a lot of farmers then.
We did, especially black farmers.
But the thing about it, back then, he wasn't able to do as much damage as he's able to do now. Because he had roadblocks.
Right.
He doesn't have those anymore. So it's worse. So I think some of them may have...
forgotten?
They forgot. Because they weren't thinking about that.
What do you think they were thinking about?
They were probably thinking about not having a woman as president.
Mm-hmm.
Not having a black woman as president.
Mm-hmm.
They were thinking about how the border, because it was the propaganda that came in. It was hitting them over and over and over again. So they wasn't really thinking about when you're comfortable and things are going right for you. You don't really think about what's going to happen, but you should be. What's going to happen if this happens? They weren't thinking about that. Now, a black woman particularly, she'll weigh the pros and cons, and she'll think what's going to happen 5 years down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So with us thinking that way, we voted one way. With them thinking that way, they voted one way. And the way they voted, they didn't think about their self-interest. They voted against their own best interests. They were one-ticket voters.
One-thing voters.
That's what they were. And now they're dealing with the ramifications of what they did. And it's regret. It's too late now. It's too late.
Because believe it or not, being a farmer, you are a part of DEI.
You are.
You're a part of that diversity, equity, and inclusion that you hate so much.
And all of the farmers that voted against border stuff, they all thought he was going to keep what we had here. But he said, hire some of the people out there that don't have jobs now. Do you actually think Americans, especially white people, want to work on somebody's farm?
Well, a young white man who's been playing Dungeons and Dragons all day and
video games, they are not going to want to work on
is a
somebody's farm.
mega influencer online, and now all of a sudden the grants and the money that he had is gone. He can go up to Mr. Willie's farm and pick some peaches at $9 an hour.
He's not going to want to do that.
So you don't think Cletus wants that job?
Cletus not going to want that because Cletus addicted to the video games. It's an addiction.
So when we think about the migrant workers that came through and now they're all gone and fruits and vegetables are rotting in the fields.
But you got to understand something. Those migrant workers did not come here illegally. Those migrant workers were given visas and were promised. Mm-hmm. They are seasonal workers.
Yep.
They come here, work, and then they go home. Mm-hmm. Now they can't come here and work. They can't, like the Haitians. Those Haitians were asked to come.
They were.
Those Haitians were given visas to work in the different cities in different states that they could not get people to come to for employment.
Yeah.
They were invited. They were given visas. They were invited. When their work was done, they were going to be sent back.
Right.
That was not illegal. That was not illegal. Now, the farmers that did have the migrant workers, they in a pickle. All because of racism.
Yep.
You can't lump everybody together. You cannot do that. And as far as what is that called? People being born here.
Mm-hmm.
We were all born here. Take that fool in the White House. His daddy is an African. He was an African when he came, and he came illegally. His son is an American because he was born in this country.
You're talking about Musk, right? Elon
The African,
Musk.
him,
Yeah.
and then the other
African.
one. And the other one, I think the
from
other one
Germany.
was German.
Mm-hmm.
His daddy was German. They kicked him out of Germany.
His granddaddy, they kicked
His
out.
granddaddy,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So when he came here,
He was illegal.
he was illegal too.
Oh, but well, you know, they came through Ellis Island, and that's different because they were white folk. They came through Ellis Island. They didn't come to the southern border. They came on a boat.
They came on the boat, but still,
Yeah.
according to what he wants to do, then he should be shipped back.
Yeah.
They all should be shipped back.
So with the farmers and the co-ops and the devastation, destruction of what's
man.
going on, will we even have farming left?
They're going to have to do a lot of groveling when this is over with, because a lot of countries that dealt with us are now dealing with other countries, and they're getting contracts from them.
Mm-hmm.
So everything they've lost, they're not going to get back. They got to figure another way out, another way to get contracts from countries. And the countries that they had contracts with, those contracts are gone now. They gave them to other countries. So I don't know what they're going to do. And right now, they're building a wall around our country.
They are.
There's a wall being built around our country.
Best speech I heard was from the Danish Prime Minister, and it's a shame.
Yeah.
I'm so embarrassed.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I said I am embarrassed that we are no longer the country of democracy. I'm embarrassed.
We're
fought
part of
for
the
this
communist.
country.
We're part of the communist trio.
Yeah.
We're
We're
the
an
fourth.
We're literally in access of evil.
Yep. We are on the brink of
My
communism in
God.
this country.
My God.
Our military is going to be completely white. No women, no people of color. They're going to institute a draft, and guess what? Your sons and daughters, well, not your daughters, because they want them home barefoot and pregnant. But your sons, they're going to be drafted. And, in order for his military to be what he wants it to be. That's what's going to happen.
Really quite right.
You got to think about it.
Really white quite.
You got to think about it.
Yes.
Our farmers have really lost out. It's sad to see that. A lot of them are going to fold probably by the end of this year, next year.
I think so.
So
I think so, and I think because of what's going on now, USAID was affected a lot. But now that you're bringing the tariffs in,
that's even worse.
it's going to make it a whole lot worse. And I think the small farmers may be the only ones that probably will survive.
They'll survive because if the community can help
if the
them.
community can help them, and it's a small cooperative thing, and it's a family thing, and we have to look out for one another. Because here's the thing: people always complain and bitch and moan about what they don't have, and the United States of America is not looking at what they do have.
And we had a lot.
And what we had. And we let one person, oh, I'm sorry, the president and the president's second president destroy it because we have a Congress that abdicated its duty.
Yep.
We have a Supreme Court that is arrogant.
Yep.
And we have a tyrannical imperial president who does not care. And on that note, thank you, Miss Gwendolyn Cummins. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Farmer T. Mm-hmm. This is Sally Blue, and we'll be seeing you. Just so you guys know, this podcast is going to be downloaded on my second site called A Woman's Word. Sally Blue out.